20 women kidnapped in Fresh Zamfara Raid. Benue governor gives security 48 hours to arrest new phone attackers. NAFDAC seizes 1.5 billion worth of banned and expired products in Lagos raid. And on the foreign scene, Ethiopia issues first death sentence for human trafficking. Hello, good evening and welcome to News Update on Trust TV. I am Fatima Ahmed Musa. Thank you so much for joining me. Now we'll begin with insecurity matters. Bandits have abducted at least 20 persons, mostly young girls and women in Muriki town of Zurmi local government area of Zamfara state. Report says the victims were abducted on Saturday while fetching firewood on the outskirts of the town. Police authorities in the state are yet to confirm the incident. Meanwhile, the conflict is worsening a malnutrition crisis in the northwest as attackers drive people away from their farms in a situation that has been complicated by climate change and Western aid cuts. Last month, bandits in Zamfara killed 33 people they had kidnapped in February despite receiving a $33,700 billion ransom, while 3 babies died in captivity, officials and residents told AFP. Still on insecurity, at least 3 people have been killed and several others hospitalized in fresh bandit attack on Malumfashi, Dandumi and Faskare community of Katsina State. The bandits wielding dangerous weapons during the latest attack on Karfi village of Malumfashi local government on Monday evening killed 2 people and abducted an unspecified number of women and children. In Dandumi and Megoro village of Faskare local government, 1 person was killed and another wounded while separately working on their farms on Monday morning. Those who sustained gunshot wounds at Karfi village were rushed to Malumfashi General Hospital by a combined team of security personnel for medication. According to reports from Karfi community, the attackers who stormed the village in broad daylight on Friday returned on Sunday night before the latest Monday evening attack. Meanwhile, the police in Katsina said they have launched an investigation into the attacks with a view of reinstalling them and bringing the culprits to book. Now, in the same situation in Benue State, Governor Hyacinth Alia has ordered the immediate arrest of the killers of 2 Igede youths along Awaji Ojo Road and attackers of Yumfo community in Buruku local government. He directed the security agencies to move in and liaise with the traditional rulers of the areas concerned and ensure that they comb the vicinity thoroughly and within 48 hours to identify and apprehend the perpetrators to face the full wrath of the law. According to security reports, the 2 were traveling from Oju on their motorcycle when they were attacked and killed in cold blood. Governor Alia also denounced a separate attack on Yufon community in Mbekyogo ward of Buruku local government area. The incident reportedly carried out by youths from the Mbayaka community in Kusuv, also of Buruku local government area, followed a misunderstanding linked to a boat mishap. He described the 2 incidents, which happened separately in different local governments in the state, as uncalled for and unfortunate, saying nobody or any group has the right to invade another community or inflict harm under any circumstances. And now in political matters, a group within the All Progressives Congress, APC in Oyo State, is calling on President Bola Tinubu and the party's National Working Committee to intervene in what they described as the imposition of Adewale Olatunji as the party's candidate for the upcoming Ibadan North by-election. They allege the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabo, is behind the move, despite their backing of another aspirant, Khalil Mustafa. The report.
With just 2 weeks to the Ibadan North by-election, political activities are gaining momentum, but within the Oyo State chapter of the APC, internal tensions are brewing over the party's yet-to-be-finalized choice of candidates. Some party members have accused Minister Adebayo Adelabu of imposing Adewale Olatunji as APC candidate, sidelining their preferred choice, Khalil Mustafa.
We reject imposition in politics and believe that all candidates should be given a fair chance, just like our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself, subjected himself to party primaries. If there's a crisis in the party and APC fails to win, the blame should go to the minister, Mr. Adebayo Adelabu, and the working committee under the former acting chairman, Alibuka Dalori, and other stakeholders that started this issue initially. The aspirant initially planned a solidarity rally, but converted it to a press conference to allow the presidency to hear our voice and prevent further division within the party.
They argue that the same lack of internal democracy that pushed Adelabu to leave the APC in 2023 is now resurfacing under his watch, undermining the credibility of the party's selection process.
It is very important to put on record 2023. This same act was perpetuated, and the then gubernatorial aspirant, Sheikh Adelabu, who is like a brother, left the party because of this kind of process he did not believe in. That is not democratic, and they left for accord based on his principal stance, fighting against something he believed is bringing. The process is flawed. It does not key into the electoral act process.
As the August 16 by-election approaches, the outcome of this internal dispute could shape the APC's performance at the polls and influence the party's strength and unity within the Ibadan North Federal Constituency.
Now, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has seized banned, expired and unregistered products valued at over 1.5 billion during a major enforcement operation at the Lagos Trade Fair Market. A post on NAFDAC's official X handle said the operation was led by the agency's Director of Investigation and Enforcement, Martins Oluyumade. It said the raid focused on the cosmetics section of the market, where several warehouses were discovered to be stocked with cosmetics, food items and other NAFDAC-regulated products that lacked proper registration or date markings. NAFDAC described the seizure as one of the largest in recent months, adding that it is part of the institution's crackdown on the circulation of unsafe consumer goods across the country. The agency said its enforcement operations are ongoing nationwide and targeted at safeguarding public health by removing hazardous items from the market. The development comes as part of NAFDAC's broader efforts to rid Nigeria's market of substandard and potentially harmful products. And now to Lagos, the state government has urged residents to remain calm following heavy rainfall in the last 12 hours, assuring that resilient infrastructure is in place to manage flash flooding. According to the State Minister of Environment and Water Resources, a Nigerian Meteorological Agency advisory has warned of heavy rainfall and thunderstorms over the next 3 days. It said some parts of the state may experience flash floods due to the inability of major collectors to contain excessive runoff. Authorities cautioned that Lagos' coastal location and rising water levels in the lagoon could cause tidal locks, preventing water discharge from drainage systems. The ministry advised residents to avoid wading through flooding areas, keep children from playing in the rain, and refrain from dumping refuse in the drains. Now, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has forecast above normal rainfalls in Gombe, Kano, Bauchi, and 7 other northern states in the coming days as the country approaches the peak of rainy season. According to the agency's August weather outlook, Sokoto, Zamfara, Jigawa, Katsina, Yobe, Borno, and Kebbi are also expected to experience heavy downpours. NIMET noted that August would likely bring increased rainfall intensity and frequency, especially in the extreme northern regions. The agency warned that this could lead to higher soil moisture levels and rising river levels, significantly increasing the risks of flash and riverine flooding. It advised flood-prone and riverine communities to stay alert, following evacuation instructions, and keep important documents and valuables in waterproof containers. Now, the Nigerian Customs Service, NCS, has launched a reputation management initiative aimed at promoting, protecting, and projecting the image of the service. This comes as the service continues to battle a long-standing negative public perception, often fueled by allegations of corruption, inefficiency, poor service delivery, and lack of professionalism. Trust TV's Noel Sampson reports that these challenges have contributed to widespread public distrust in the agency, hence the need to address the situation. His report.
At the formal launch of the initiative, the Controller General of the service, Adewale Adeneyi, emphasized that the image of any public institution is a critical asset. For the Nigerian Customs Service, whose core duties include trade facilitation, revenue generation, and national security, Adewale noted that maintaining a credible and professional and trustworthy reputation is essential. This, he said, is what makes the initiative timely and necessary.
Charity, they say, begins at home. It is also important that while we do all of this, we awaken the responsibility of every customs officers and men to the fact that they are number one reputation managers for the service everywhere they go. The objective of the handbook that we have today is to allow our officers and men to have a clear understanding of what their roles and their responsibilities are. It provides them a practical guide that will help them to know how they would behave, how they will conduct themselves with professionalism and with a higher level of ethics.
We're happy that most of the civil society are excited about the improvement generally. The CG himself has made the issue of reputation very central. In most of his speeches, he has highlighted that. With what you are doing today, you are taking the lead among the public institutions to demonstrate that you recognize that reputation is no longer just a buzzword, but reputation is a necessary asset that any organization will need to drive.
He noted that a strong reputation is vital for any organization, as it influences its ability to attract stakeholders, secure resources, and fulfill its mandates. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're still watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Ahead of 2027 poll bills, billboards stir controversy as INEC faces scrutiny over campaign rules. There's some more when we return. Do stay with us.
Media Trust Group presents the 2025 Unsung Hero Awards. In every community, there are those who shine brightest when no one's watching. The mentor who changes a life. The neighbor who shows courage when it matters most. The selfless souls who give without counting the cost. The peacemakers who heal the broken. Know someone extraordinary? Someone whose ongoing dedication makes your community stronger. Tell us their story, because heroes deserve recognition. Send your nomination to unsunghero@dailytrust.com.
Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is News Update on Trust TV. In case you missed it, here's a recap of our top stories again. We told you that 20 women kidnapped in Fresh Zamfara Raid. Benue governor gives security 48 hours to arrest new phone attackers. Now we'll move on to more stories. Governor Mai Mala Buni of Yobe State has congratulated 2 teenagers from the state for emerging overall best in English language and debate competition at the 2025 Teen Angle Global Finals in London. Nafisa Abdullahi, 17, and Rukaya Fema, 15, both students of Nigeria Tulip International College, Mamodu, represented Nigeria and triumphed over 20,000 participants from 69 countries. The governor described their performance as a great honor to the state and the country and said it justified the government's investment in education. He announced plans for grant reception to honor the winners. Meanwhile, Buni pledged that his administration will continue subsidizing education to ensure every child in the state has access to schooling and appealed for parents' cooperation. He noted that both Nafisa and Rukaya were beneficiaries of the state's scholarship program, which covers full tuition for 890 students at the college. Now, 2 years to the next general elections in Nigeria, campaign billboards are already springing up along major roads and streets across the Federal Capital Territory and neighboring Nasarawa State. This development raises concern about whether these actions comply with the Independent National Electoral Commission's regulation on political campaigning. In this report, Trust TV's Noel Sampson examines the scale of these apparent violations and what INEC is doing to address them.
Trust TV, Wilfred Ifoga, the Deputy Director of Information and Publicity at INEC, and legal practitioner Mutiu Akinsanya, both reference the Electoral Act of 2022, which clearly outlines the guidelines for political campaigning, including the placement of billboards.
The Electoral Act 2022 provides in section 94(1) that every political party, the time frame for campaigns publicly actually begins 150 days to the particular election and is expected to stop 24 hours to the election. So as we speak, I think right now we have elections in various states where we have by-elections for legislative houses, and also we have the Anambra standalone election for their governorship election. So right now, these are the places we expect campaigns to go on. For the Anambra, they are already about within the period where the campaigns are on already. So these are the places we actually expect public campaigns by the political parties.
Section 94 of the Electoral Act is very clear. It is completely illegal. And those who are putting up the billboards, or those on whose behalf those billboards are placed, can be liable under the law. So the law they can be fined and they can be punished. In fact, it's tantamount to a criminal violation of the Electoral Act.
Akinsanya also elaborated on the penalties for violators, while Ifoga discussed ongoing efforts by the Commission to curb the illegal practice.
We are advising them to stop it because ordinarily we expect everyone to abide by the Electoral Act, not until the Commission comes up with the electoral timetable as against 2027. So it's not expected that anyone then should come out with it.
Section 94 provides clearly for fine to be paid. And even if the law is not clear, if the law has prohibited something, there are steps that are required to be taken, even if they are not in black and white, because where the law is violated and there are no consequences, it's an encouragement for the law to be further violated. So INEC, for instance, as a body, has a duty to pull down those billboards when they are illegally erected, and they also have the duty to also bring those who put those billboards to book.
Meanwhile, Musa Ayiga, an ADC chieftain and grassroots mobilizer, condemned those flouting the rules and called for stricter enforcement and tougher penalties.
When you violate INEC rules and regulations or the INEC, the Electoral Act, you should be in prison. Apart from going to prison, you have to be fined like 1 billion or even more for violating it. It's better so that people will feel it when you are doing it, you'll be afraid. Look, we have a law in this country. And if you are not careful, the law, in fact, we are going to be sanctioned.
Some politicians have claimed that these billboards are erected by overzealous supporters without their consent. However, political analysts argue that such excuses should not override constitutional provisions or INEC guidelines. Wow, Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now in business, the African Export-Import Bank has signed a $1.35 billion financing facility for Dangote Industry Limited, part of a $4 billion syndicate loan to refinance the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals Complex. Afrexim Bank President Benedict Orama said the deal shows Africa's development can be financed from within, while deal chairman Aliko Dangote held the support as key to industrializing the continent. Since operations began in February 2024, Afrexim Bank has provided financing for crude supply and product takeoff, ensuring uninterrupted refinery operations and boosting Africa's refining capacity. And now away from Nigeria, Ethiopia has sentenced 5 individuals to death for human trafficking, marking the first time the country has issued the death penalty for this crime. The group was convicted for operating along the eastern route, a path used by thousands of migrants traveling from the Horn of Africa through the Red Sea and Yemen to the Gulf states in search of work. The verdict comes shortly after a maritime tragedy in which dozens of Ethiopian migrants drowned off the coast of Yemen, highlighting the deadly risks faced by those in the hands of trafficking networks. Ethiopian justice authorities described the ruling as a turning point in efforts to combat human trafficking. Specialized task forces have been established within the law enforcement and judiciary to strengthen investigations and protect victims. And now in sport, Nigeria has officially been awarded the hosting rights for the second African School Games set to take place in 2027. The announcement was made on Tuesday in Algiers following a competitive bidding process that saw Nigeria triumph over other strong contenders, including South Africa and Kenya. Nigeria's successful bid was largely influenced by its recent track record of hosting top-tier competitions such as the National Sport Festival and the 3rd CAA Africa Under-18, Under-20 Athletics Championship and other events which were widely acclaimed for their exceptional organization, athlete experience and facilities. The delegation that led Nigeria's bid include the Director General of the Nigeria Sport Commission, NSC Bukola Olapade, and President of the Nigeria Olympic Committee, NOC Habu Gumel. And with that, we have come to the end of News Update on Trust TV. Do not forget to watch and catch us across all our social media platforms for more news, programs, and documentaries. I am Fatima Ahmed Musa. Thanks for watching.